for joining us today. I'm so excited to be able to interview Nicole Porter, and she and I have just been getting acquainted right before this podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and read her intro because I don't think I would be able to remember all of it, but it's really cool. So Nicole Porter is an entrepreneur and former hospitality pro turned real estate strategist, known for her calm confidence and Midwest meets desert charm, and her ability to turn complex life moments into clarity-filled strategies, which I love. I was like, everybody needs that in their life. Nicole's experiences, journey, and truth make her a voice of reason. Moving to Arizona from Michigan 18 years ago, she found a passion in helping people live a life they love in the home they love. She loves sharing things, the great things about living in Arizona, as well as encouraging people to pursue their dream and build a reality they can actually live in. I also love that. Her latest passion project, Your Parent Porter, was divinely downloaded after recently losing both her parents in a year's time and the aftermath of handling the family estate. Moving away from home and dealing with the inevitable has been a journey within itself, and she wants to help more Gen X kids when they don't live close to their boomer parents. Whether she's talking legacy, leadership, real estate, or soulful entrepreneurship, Nicole brings grounded wisdom, real-world insight, and a vibe that makes people feel instantly at home. And I can totally attest to that. I feel like I've just known you forever. So welcome.
Thank you.
You bet.
I'm glad you enjoyed my bio.
I did. It was very well written. So I just love it because it gives a great overview. And I always, something that fascinates me is hearing people's journey. Like, how did they, decide to, and we had talked previously, so you can share that with the audience, but you've worn a lot of hats: hospitality service, real estate professional, and entrepreneur. How have those roles shaped the way you show up in business today?
Yes, I get asked that question a lot because people look at my resume and they're like,
Wow. Yes,
what haven't you done?
Exactly.
It's been quite the journey, and kind of looking back on it now, I see how necessary each and every one of those things were in my life to bring me to exactly where I am today. I started out, I have a college degree, I have a business management degree, and I wanted to be an engineer and architect. So I don't know even how I got off track of that, but I ended up in restaurant management and hospitality business for many, many years. I lived in Michigan, and I just couldn't handle the gray skies. I had definitely got the seasonal depression.
Amen, sister, from Seattle. Gotcha.
Yeah, I had to run away, and nobody would leave Michigan with me. So I had some friends and some family out in Arizona, and I was like, you know what? I know I'll like it. I'm just going to go. And being in the hospitality business, I could basically get a job anywhere.
Right, yeah.
And so I came here on my last paycheck and, found a serving job right away and just started making life in Arizona. And I just started to fall in love with the weather and the sunshine.
Yes.
And, everyone would come into the restaurant and be like, oh my gosh, we're visiting and we love it here so much. And I just loved sharing all the things that I loved about it. Mm-hmm. I get to hike and I get to bike. I have a motorcycle. I ride a motorcycle. I walk my dogs every morning, and it's like never bad. I remember telling a story to someone when I first moved here. They were like, we're going to have a pool party on Saturday. And I was like, what? A pool party? What's the backup plan? And they're like, what do you mean? We're having a pool party. Yes. And I was like, well, should I bring extra clothes? Are we going to hang out in a garage? Are we going to do what are the things that we're going to do now that, and they're like, no, it's going to be nice. And I realized that. And so I just fell in love with the Arizona lifestyle.
Yes.
And so finally I got a real estate license because I was like, I have to help all these people move here. I love it here so much.
Yes.
And I just keep meeting all these people in the hospitality business that, I need to help them get here. Mm-hmm. So I'll go back about to 2018. The Airbnb business was really starting to take off. And I had my real estate license. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to help these people fall in love with Arizona, and then they'll buy the house.
Yes.
That's going to be my strategy. So I started an Airbnb concierge business.
Oh, cool.
Because I knew private chefs and in-home yoga instructors and all of the services.
Yeah.
From my networking, from my event planning, from the hospitality business, I just knew all these people. And so I kind of launched that business, and then COVID happened. Mm. And I was forced to learn how to be a realtor. And I mean, mostly just because I didn't want the risk in the hospitality business.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the person that sent the chef in with COVID or something,
Right.
like that.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, you know what? I'm just better off learning how to use my real estate license. I've had it for a few years and haven't really done anything with it. So I got a real estate mentor, and then he started teaching me about investing and rental properties and all of those things.
Oh, wow.
And I really started to see the possibilities to build wealth and own my own, rental properties. And so I just worked really hard at real estate and learned a lot. Learned every time you sell a house, it's something different.
I imagine with all the different personalities and, just the hoops that you have to jump through. I mean, we've, bought and sold several houses too. And I'm so glad we didn't ever try to do it on our own. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Yikes.
Every time I thought I knew what I was doing, I really didn't. And there's always something at the end of the deal that you're just like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this could happen.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to have a great community of realtors around me, and I was on a team at the time, and just doing life.
I love that you sought out a mentor.
Yeah.
And that you surrounded yourself with people that maybe knew a little bit more, or were more seasoned than you were, just because that's so important when we're wanting to level up, I guess, or reach the next goal, is to surround ourselves with people that either are, have achieved that goal maybe, or are on their way. So that's great.
Well, I mean, my parents had the mindset with me, you might want to not live there forever. You probably shouldn't buy anything. Like I had a lot of my parents' fear, I found out, as I was trying to grow in real estate and in life. I found a lot of my direction was based on my parents' upbringing. I don't want to blame my parents, but but we do.
That plays a role in who you are.
Right.
I mean, there's just no getting around it. So.
Yeah. My parents would be like, you need to go get a real job, get a real paycheck. Like, what are you doing?
Yes.
And so, I had to fight against that for many years. Started doing a lot of personal development work because I'm like, this can't be true. Like, I shouldn't have to have a job. I mean, yes, I know I have to work, but why can't I work for myself?
Exactly.
I feel totally undervalued in all the positions I've had. I've left them. I've tried a lot of different things and nothing has touched me, but I feel very driven picking, my own career.
Yes.
And so that was the opportunity that real estate gave me and the Airbnb concierge business gave me. But then the market shifted and people stopped buying and selling. And then my father passed away. And so that was a huge, just kind of wake up call for me. I had just asked my father a week before he died. I was home visiting them in Michigan and, hey, you guys are getting a little older. Do we know what to do if something happens to you guys? And my dad's like, my will is in there on the table. Just finished it. You want to read it? And I was like, no, Dad, don't want to read your will. La, la, la. You're not going anywhere.
Yes.
And my brother's like, Dad wants to be cremated. Mom wants to serve it. So I'm like, okay, well, Matt knows. My brother knows what to do. Okay, we're all good. So I come back home from my time home, and my father has a standard procedure and makes it through surgery, and then that night has a heart attack and passes away. Oh. So just a week after I had asked the questions. And then my mother had been battling fatty liver disease for many years, and after my father passed, she just went downhill, and she passed exactly a year after him. And she was a collector of things, because we're live on camera for my mother. I won't say the word. She was a collector. And then my brother and I were tasked with cleaning out our childhood home. Right. And if you want to get over, if you want to heal some things, try going through your parents' stuff and your stuff and deciding what gets to stay and what gets to go for the rest of your life. So that was very challenging. Thankfully, I had the time to do it because I was self-employed. And, I had to remind my brother of that. Hey, good thing I'm self-employed and I can do this. I can be here. I'm not making money.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to have to restart my life when I go back too. So, I'm here. I'm going to keep the house. Maybe this is how I get to hold on to them. And it'll be my first investment property since I've been learning about real estate investing. And, maybe this is the direction we go. But then I started talking to my friends about, about the grief and the things that I've gone through. And I realize that there's a lot of us Gen X kids that have not talked to our parents about all of these things. And sorry, you guys, the inevitable is going to happen.
Yeah.
And there's a way to better prepare. And so I started a new business this last couple months called Your Parent Porter, where, there's those parents that are still healthy. They're still living at home. I mean, my parents were healthy. Mm-hmm. They didn't need nursing. They didn't need to go to assisted living. They didn't need that. And this was a space that, I got to, I can go in and help other Gen X kids and check on their parents when they live out of state. My brother would tell me things, but I really didn't know. And
right.
Our childhood home, when we unburied it, there was a ton of black mold in the house.
Oh my gosh.
And so I don't even know how sick they were from the black mold, you
right.
know? So if I could start a service for the kids that live out of state to go in and check on mom and dad's home, check on the condition, check on their well-being, and, maybe we can catch something before they're really sick and before there's an emergency and a nurse has to come in or they have to go to assisted living. There's got to be a proactive way for us to take care of our aging, independent parents.
That is amazing. And I'm so sorry that you had to experience that but I love that you're changing that or turning that tragedy into a way to help other people, because my parents my dad is still alive, but he lives in Nevada, and so we wouldn't, I get that. And of course, I'm not a spring chicken. So that's the conversations we need to have with our kids. In fact, we just had our trust and living will and all that stuff done. Mm-hmm. But how can people get a hold of you? What is your business name?
My new business is called Your Parent Porter.
Okay.
My real estate business is Nicole Porter AZ Real Estate. So they can find me on Instagram at Nicole Porter AZ and at Your Parent Porter. And I'm on YouTube, Nicole Porter AZ. I think I'm pretty much Nicole Porter AZ if you want to find me anywhere.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just feel like I've really gotten to know you, and I'm excited to see where you're going to go, because I know that you're going to land on your feet and you're going to help so many people that, are living away from their parents and giving them peace of mind. So I really, really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Bet.